On the surface, Ross Ulbricht appeared to be the ideal young man. An Eagle Scout, a bright student with dreams of scientific innovation. But beneath this facade lay a darker path that would lead him to become one of the most wanted men on the internet. How did a seemingly innocent boy from Texas evolve into the mastermind behind the infamous Silk Road, a hidden online marketplace that generated over $1.2 billion in illegal sales? Born in 1984, Ross Ulbricht grew up in Austin, Texas, as the son of Kirk and Lynn Ulbricht, alongside his younger sister Kayla. From an early age, Ross exhibited intelligence and ambition. He was known for his exceptional academic performance and a character that drew admiration from family and friends alike. He was the kind of kid who followed the rules, respected authority, and aspired to make a positive impact on the world. Ross's upbringing in a supportive family led him to excel in various activities, including scouting. As a Boy Scout, he embraced the organization's core values, swearing an oath to help others at all times and to stay morally straight. He eventually earned the rank of Eagle Scout, a prestigious title awarded to those who demonstrate exemplary character and leadership. Ross's parents were proud, believing their son was on a path to greatness. After high school, Ross attended the University of Texas at Dallas, where he majored in physics. His academic achievements earned him a scholarship to Penn State University, where he pursued a master's degree in material science and engineering. With a promising future ahead, many believed Ross was destined for success in a scientific career. However, during his time at Penn State, everything changed. Ross became increasingly involved in discussions surrounding personal freedom and individual rights. These conversations stirred a deep interest in libertarianism, the belief that individuals should have the freedom to make choices about their own lives, as long as those choices do not harm others. This philosophical shift would set Ross on a dangerous trajectory. In 2008, Ross found himself captivated by the idea of personal liberty. He believed that individuals should have the right to choose what they put into their bodies and how they live their lives without government interference. This radical notion pushed Ross to envision a world where people could freely buy and sell whatever they wished, unencumbered by the law. As he delved deeper into these discussions, Ross's ideals began to take a dark turn. He started to see the potential for creating a platform that would facilitate these transactions, an anonymous marketplace that would allow users to buy and sell illegal goods without fear of reprisal. This idea, born from a desire for freedom, would ultimately lead Ross down a path of destruction. In 2009, after completing his master's degree, Ross returned to Austin with dreams of entrepreneurship. However, the world of business proved more challenging than he anticipated. His initial attempts at entrepreneurship, including day trading and a failed video game company, left him disillusioned. Ross struggled to find his footing and recorded his frustrations in a journal, feeling ashamed of his setbacks. Just when he was about to lose hope, Ross discovered an opportunity to create a business that aligned with his newfound beliefs. Inspired by the discussions he had at Penn State, he envisioned a website where people could buy anything anonymously, without a trace leading back to them. This idea would soon evolve into the Silk Road. In early 2011, after months of coding and planning, Ross launched Silk Road, a hidden marketplace on the dark web that operated using Bitcoin, a decentralized digital currency. The name Silk Road was a nod to the historical trade routes that connected East and West, symbolizing the free flow of goods and ideas. Ross's goal was clear: to create a platform that would allow individuals to trade freely without government oversight. He wrote in his journal, "I'm creating a year of prosperity and power beyond what I ever experienced before. Silk Road is going to become a phenomenon." Little did he know, this venture would lead to a chaotic and dangerous existence. At first, Silk Road operated quietly, attracting a small but loyal customer base. Ross promoted his site subtly, adopting the persona of Altoid, a pseudonymous user who seemed to be an enthusiastic customer. He posted on forums sharing information about Silk Road and encouraging others to explore the site. It wasn't long before the marketplace exploded in popularity. Silk Road offered an array of illicit goods, from illegal drugs to counterfeit identification. The platform was groundbreaking, providing an unprecedented level of anonymity for buyers and sellers alike. As the site grew, Ross watched with excitement as sales skyrocketed. Within a few months, Silk Road became the go-to marketplace for those seeking illegal products online. In the beginning, the only items available were a few mushrooms that Ross had personally grown. However, as word spread, other vendors began to flock to the site, eager to sell their own goods. By mid-2011, Silk Road boasted thousands of products with categories ranging from drugs to hacking services, all offered by anonymous sellers from around the globe. But with success came new challenges. Ross found himself spending countless hours on his computer, managing the growing business. As his online empire expanded, he faced increasing pressure to maintain the site's security and reputation. Amid the chaos, Ross's personal life began to crumble. He had been dating Julia Vai, a fellow student from Penn State, and their relationship had flourished until Ross revealed the nature of his new business. Julia was horrified at the thought of Ross engaging in illegal activities. The couple soon found themselves at odds, leading to a painful breakup. Julia later recounted, "I was angry because I wanted to go out. I wanted to have fun, and he was so consumed by this project." Despite Ross's insistence that he was creating a platform for freedom and choice, Julia couldn't shake the fear of the potential consequences. Ultimately, their relationship deteriorated, and Julia moved out, leaving Ross heartbroken. As Ross grappled with the loss of his relationship, he was also confronted by another issue: his newfound notoriety. In June 2011, a blog post by Gawker brought Silk Road into the public eye, resulting in an explosion of interest. While this meant more customers, it also caught the attention of law enforcement. Suddenly, Ross found himself in a precarious position. The site that he had built to promote freedom and autonomy was now under scrutiny from federal agencies. Ross wrote in his journal, "Silk Road got its first press. The infamous Gawker article. I can see right when it happened, a huge spike in signups. The publicity was both a blessing and a curse." In the midst of the growing pressure, Ross encountered a figure who would play a pivotal role in his descent into the criminal underworld. He met Variety Jones, an experienced mentor who offered guidance on managing Silk Road. Variety helped Ross enhance the site's security, boost sales, and refine his approach to running the marketplace. As Ross collaborated with Variety, he began to adopt a more hardened attitude toward the risks associated with Silk Road. Variety suggested that Ross create an alter ego, an online persona that would shield him from the growing threat of law enforcement. This was the birth of Dread Pirate Roberts, a name taken from the character in the cult classic film, The Princess Bride. By adopting this persona, Ross felt empowered. He was no longer just a programmer. He was now the leader of a burgeoning criminal enterprise. On February 5, 2012, Ross announced to Silk Road users that he would henceforth be known as Dread Pirate Roberts. This name not only served to create a mystique around him, but also reinforced his commitment to the Silk Road's mission. With his new identity, Ross dove deeper into the underworld of online crime. He became increasingly paranoid, aware that law enforcement was closing in. In an effort to protect himself, he implemented strict security measures for his employees, demanding identification and using encryption to safeguard his communications. However, paranoia soon gave way to violence. In January 2013, a Silk Road employee named Curtis Clark Green was arrested in a DEA sting operation. Under pressure, Curtis revealed vital information about Silk Road, including his login credentials. This breach put Ross's operation at risk, and he was furious. Desperate to send a message and regain control, Ross turned to Variety for advice. They discussed punishing Curtis, ultimately deciding on a deadly course of action: hiring a hitman. Ross agreed to pay $80,000 to eliminate Curtis, believing this would instill fear in anyone considering crossing him. Ironically, the hitman Ross contacted was actually an undercover DEA agent. In a twisted turn of events, instead of carrying out the hit, the agent staged a fake execution, sending Ross photographs that depicted Curtis dead. Ross, believing he had eliminated a threat, was left oblivious to the reality that he was now on the radar of law enforcement. This marked a turning point for Ross. As he continued to expand Silk Road, he began to order hits on others who he believed threatened his operation. He felt untouchable, until the walls began to close in. As the Silk Road became the most sophisticated criminal marketplace on the internet, law enforcement agencies intensified their efforts to take Ross down. Despite his careful planning, a small mistake would lead the FBI directly to him. In the summer of 2013, agents discovered a coding error in Silk Road software that revealed the server's IP address. The FBI traced it to a data center in Iceland, and rather than shutting it down immediately, they opted for a more strategic approach. They created a mirror image of the server, allowing them to monitor Silk Road's activities without alerting Ross. During this time, the FBI gathered crucial evidence, observing the transactions, private messages, and even Ross's own journal entries. They learned that in just 2 years, Silk Road had processed over 1.2 million transactions, generating approximately $1 billion. The information was damning, but they still needed to find a way to link it all back to Ross. Meanwhile, Gary Alford, an IRS investigator, stumbled upon a significant lead while searching for Silk Road's origins online. He found a post from January 2011 on a Bitcoin forum written by a user named Altoid. This post provided details on how to access Silk Road and effectively tied it back to Ross's earlier marketing efforts. As Gary dug deeper, he discovered another post from October 2011 where Altoid was recruiting programmers for a Bitcoin startup. The catch? The post provided an email address, rossi.com. This revelation was a turning point, linking Ross directly to the illicit activities surrounding Silk Road. With mounting evidence and the clock ticking, the FBI decided to act. They obtained an arrest warrant for Ross, tracking him to a public library in San Francisco. On October 1, 2013, the agents implemented a risky plan to apprehend him while he was logged into Silk Road. As Ross sat at a computer, the agent sent him a message from a Silk Road employee's account, tricking him into logging in. The agents monitored his every move, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Suddenly, a staged altercation broke out nearby, diverting Ross's attention. This distraction allowed agents to grab his laptop, catching him red-handed. When the agents identified themselves, Ross was stunned. He had gone from being a digital entrepreneur to a criminal being apprehended in a public library. The FBI seized his laptop, which contained a treasure trove of evidence, including fake identities, chats, and journal entries detailing his actions as Dread Pirate Roberts. Ross was charged with multiple crimes, including money laundering and engaging in a continuing criminal enterprise. He faced a long and arduous trial, with the prosecution presenting overwhelming evidence against him. They highlighted the millions of dollars in transactions and the lives impacted by the drugs sold on Silk Road. Despite the mounting evidence, Ross maintained his innocence, claiming he was merely a fall guy for the true operators of Silk Road. He argued that he had created the site as an economic experiment, only to lose control over it later. The trial was intense, drawing media attention and public interest. On February 5, 2015, Ross was found guilty on all charges. As he stood before the judge, he penned a heartfelt letter, pleading for mercy. He expressed regret for his actions and the impact they had on others, asking for a chance at redemption. But the judge was unforgiving. He emphasized the destructive nature of Ross's actions and the toll they had taken on society. In a shocking turn of events, Ross was sentenced to double life imprisonment, plus 40 years without the possibility of parole. Ross Ulbricht's journey from an idealistic young man to a notorious criminal kingpin serves as a cautionary tale about the choices we make and the paths we choose to follow. His desire for freedom and autonomy spiraled into a world of violence, deception, and ultimately, a devastating fall from grace. The seemingly small decisions he made along the way shaped not only his life, but also the lives of countless others affected by his actions. Today, Ross remains imprisoned, a stark reminder of the potential consequences of our choices in the digital age. In a world increasingly defined by technology, we must remember that our actions have consequences. The choices we make can either uplift or destroy, not just our lives, but the lives of those around us. As we navigate our own paths, let us choose wisely, for the journey we embark on today may lead to a future we never imagined. Thank you for joining me in exploring this incredible story of ambition, ideology, and the dark side of human nature. If you enjoyed this narrative, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on more true crime stories that captivate and intrigue. Until next time, stay tuned for more.